Hi, buddy. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing a coaching session for Sona, patch 8.12. Excuse me. It's a special thanks to Dedicated Duck, aka Tolith, in this video. I really appreciate the generous donation. If you would like a coaching session yourself, just out there, people watching, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to set that up for you. It's just $20. If you're a channel member with the PayPal membership system, then it's just $15. It's $5 a month to be a PayPal member, so it's basically a free membership for 1 month if you want to do a coaching session. If you do multiple coaching sessions, it's a great deal. It's also $5 off on guides for the channel, and you get to come out and play with us every Tuesday for normals if you want, and you get to join the cool Discord. So consider becoming a member if you really like the channel, if you've been around here for a while, especially if you want to do a coaching session. You might as well, because it's pretty much free. If you want to see more coaching sessions, I have a playlist down at the bottom of this Google Doc, which you can find in the description as well. So I have a whole playlist here. I think this is going to be my 116th coaching session. If you want to see in-depth champion guides, I do have a Sona guide on the channel. Be sure to check that out here as well with this playlist. If you have any other cool questions, comments, whatever, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. We'll set that up. Okay, so first off, we're just going to talk really briefly about the pregame, and then we'll go in, we'll watch the game, I'll take some physical notes, and then we'll bring it all together at the end and try to give Dedicated Duck the best 5 to 10 tips that we can to help him move up a little bit in ELO. Okay, so as far as runes, pretty standard. I would just go Airy, Mana Flow, Transcendence, Scorch, and then Bone Plating and Chrysalis. You just get the Airy for the early harass. You can spam it a lot later on with your shield as well. And then Mana Flow, you just need a ton of mana. Sona is helpful. Now, Celerity is something that people used to get on Sona all the time, but they just nerfed it this patch to where it only gives 1.5% move speed, so 5 move speed rather than the 11 or 12 that it used to give before. So I think Transcendence is really good at taking its place. It gives you some nice CDR for later on in the game. If you overdo the CDR, then it gets translated into AP, which scales really well with your W later on into the game. So I think Transcendence is definitely worth taking. If you're against tanks or something like that, bottom lane, where you're not going to get harassed that much, then you might consider taking whatever that thing is that gives you extra AP if you're above 70% health. But I think most of the time it's either going to be Transcendence or Celerity. I like Transcendence, but, there's definitely an argument for Celerity in there as well. And then Scorch, just for early game harass. And then you'll want to take Bone Plating and Chrysalis next, just because you're very squishy. The enemy team's going to know that, and it's highly likely that they're going to, aim for you later on in the game, or maybe even during the laning phase on ganks. Okay, so as far as items, I would get some kind of defensive boot most of the time. You can go mobility if you're feeling pretty greedy, but since you are going to be focused out a lot, you are very squished, you don't have a lot of defensive steroids. I think either getting Ninja Tabi or Mercury Treads are probably the place to be. You can go Tear of the Goddess. Most pro builds, most pros, will go Tear. Let's see here. What? Oh. So yeah, Tear just kind of fixes all of your mana problems early on, just allows you to really spam your spells. You don't turn that into anything later on necessarily, you don't really want to turn that into Archangels unless the game goes super long, but you're basically just paying, 850 gold just to fix all of your mana problems, and then that allows you to go Ardent Censer and Athenes and still have enough mana for later. Now, that isn't entirely necessary, depending on how much you spam your abilities, and it does cost 100 gold more than it used to. So not everybody gets it, but it is an option. I do think that if you go for something like Athene's Unholy Grail early on, then you may not need to get it because this has 100% base mana regen. But if you want to go for Ardent, then you probably would need it because that's only 50%, and that's just not enough mana regen for Sona. But if you go either Redemption or Athene's, then I think that then you probably won't need Tear. So we'll kind of see how the game unfolds. So if you have a really good on-hit AD carry, if you have something like a Kaisa or a Lucian, or just something that benefits a lot from attack speed and on-hit interactions, so it's going to get a Gensu's or it has Lucian's double shot, then Ardent Censer is very good early on because you'll get the double proc of the on-hit there. But if you have something like a Jhin on your team where Ardent Censor's not going to be amazing on him, then maybe you could just go for something like an Athene's earlier on and, you know, just have bigger AP ratios for your abilities. So it kind of depends on, you know, what the matchup is. But, you know, maybe you would want to go something like, you know, tier Ardent Censor if you have Kaisa, and then if you have Jhin, maybe you just rush straight into Athene's Unholy Grail and then go into Redemption, which is a great combination because this would give you an extra 30 AP if you have Athene's, and then you get Redemption because the extra, you know, mana regen translates over into AP off of Athene's passive, of course. Okay, so interesting itemization options. You could, in theory, if they have an 80 carry that gets really fed, you could also go Zeke's. That's a little weird on Sona, but, you know, it's not going to matter what your items are if you're dead. So if they have like a 3-0 Nocturne, you just might have to go Zeke's, especially if they're focusing you out. It's not the worst in the world, you know, because you do hold people still with your ult. It is on a fairly low cooldown. So it's on the table, but it's probably a rare purchase. But she can get it if she has to. And then I would get 2 or 3 points of Q in lane, and then max your W for the team fighting presence later on, and then max your E last. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. And I'll have timestamps in the description as well. If for some reason someone wants to skip ahead to like the post game, then you could. All right.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
You need to ping him back. I was really greedy.
30 seconds until
They
minions
could have
spawn.
looped around. Or did you forget to buy or something?
Minions have spawned.
Are you just trying to charge your thing? I don't know if it's... I mean, it's nice to charge it up, but you're going to be late on this spawn. So I would probably just be here first before that. Hey, thanks, Ruben. Thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're going to be pretty late on this. Okay, so not a huge deal. But I assume you probably back just because you forgot to buy or something. Alright, so you're against an Anivia. Okay, that's interesting. Isn't that interesting, Rory? What? Wait, why are you... Right, Rory. Well, gotta take my daughter here for just a couple minutes before I go to the bathroom, I suppose. Alright, so you're getting pushed in here. Wait, who'd you ignite? Yeah, I wouldn't really ignite right there. I mean, I know maybe it's a deterrent, but she's so high health, like... That takes a lot of pressure off the lane. Now they don't have to be, like, as scared of a Graves gank. Yeah, I would be very careful trying to harass in this lane. Like, they have so much range. I don't remember Anivia's attack range, but it's at least 550. It might even be further than that. And then Caitlyn, of course, has 650 range. Yeah, they just have so much poke against you, right, Rory? Either? Want that, Rory? Yeah, I think coin is probably the right call on this one just because you guys are probably going to lose this lane. Like, Caitlyn is still very dominant early. It's just her later game items, like, she's a bit weaker. Well, her mid-game. But she's still really good early on in the game, and then, like, on her first BF sword, so... Alright, what is it? You want some more? Speed this up a little bit, just kind of a farm off. Yeah, you just have to kind of play a little defensively here. Did you take? I don't know if you took mana flow or not. I assume you did. So yeah, this game, how far behind is Kaisa? Oh, she's actually ahead. But, jeez, Rory. It feels like you're, like you guys are really far behind, but you're not. Caitlin's just missing a lot of wide open stuff. Is that right, Rory? You want some more cracker? So I might get tier here. I would probably get tier on first back. How much gold do you have? $700. I probably would have waited, and I would just waited for 850 and gotten tier. Now, the reason I say that is because you need a lot of mana in this lane because you guys are just getting roughed up. Like, you need a lot of mana. I mean, getting the extra coins are nice. And she's dead. Probably? Wow. Okay, yeah, she's dead. I just feel like the extra gold is nice, obviously, for coin, but... like, getting the extra mana regen is so massive, so you can heal her so that she can stay in there longer and not get completely run out of the lane. So I would either go tier, or I would go, like triple fairy charm or something. Alright, what's up? I don't know. It's a tough call. No, you're not gonna... yeah, you're gonna have to run out of that. Interesting. You have 2 points in W. Yeah, I think that just going for W max here is the way to go. You just want as much healing as you can get, because you have to go really defensive in this lane. Is that right, Rory? Wow, 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 wow. What's the farm situation? Ice is actually pretty far ahead on farm. If it wasn't for that death, you guys would actually be ahead by quite a bit. I don't even know how Caitlin's missing on this farm, but she is. Good. Wait, did she heal? She's full health. Alright. Okay, meanwhile, what's going on the rest of the map? Okay, so Zed's really strong. Like, Zed is extreme. Like, Fizz is getting walloped. 18 CS to 40. 45 or so. You need to keep track of that, and you need to get some armor, like, very soon. You need to get, like, at least a cloth armor. Like, Ninja Tabi at a minimum. If he gets another kill or two, you might have to go Zeke's. Hold on, let me see this. Yeah, I think that was a good try. She just didn't follow up. I would say ping that, like, you got... If you want to make that play, you need to ping it to give her notice, right? Here. You know, you need to give her notice. So, should she follow up? Yes. But, realistically, she might not. So, you gotta ping, like, a few times. Just ping your ult, ping her a couple of times, you know, hold down alt, left click on her, put the little, you know, crosshairs on her so people know that's what you're gonna do.
Boom. Headshot.
You need to try to coordinate these backs too, because like what happens is whenever you back like that, she's going to be very vulnerable. You got to remember, your AD carry is going to die a lot, and I think was Graves on the bot side of the map also. Say when you backed. Yeah, I mean Graves is like doing red. Yeah, the wave's kind of even right now. Yeah, I don't think that's a very good buy. Like, you do get your wards, which is nice, and you do get Forbidden Idol, which is nice, but, wanna look outside for me? But Kaisa is, like, vulnerable, and then Graves can't make a play bottom, so he's just kind of wasting his time. I mean, this guy's, like, AFK or something, I guess. I don't know. Okay, well, I guess that worked out, but, like... Okay, good. You're pinging the timer, which is good. But like in theory, that would waste Graves' time. And you know, Kaisa could have gotten. They could have zoned Kaisa out. They could have stepped up and. They could have stepped up and like zoned her off CS. So she is winning here. Okay, so you know Amumu's topside, so I guess you're free to run around here. This is a pretty poor place to ward. You need to ward over this wall so it actually sees this archway. Because right now, all this is seeing is this very small little window right here. And there's already a ward here, so it's giving, like, redundant vision. Okay, Rory. Okay. There's no cracker. So, like, you always want to get maximum, like, fresh vision with your wards. That's why if you ward right here, or even, like, on the tip of the bush here, you would at least get vision of this. But I think here is one of the best places to ward, or, like, here. Right, what are you doing? Yeah, once again, I think if you want to try to make that play, you need to communicate that. Like, you need to ping. I think just using your ult on someone as tanky as a Mumu when no one else is close to you is also a little problematic, you know? Because they're just not going to expect you to do that, probably. And I would try to, like, save your ult to put it on a squishy target, or at least to hit multiple targets. Like, if you're going to hit a Mumu, it has to be somebody else also. Where's it, Rory?
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
There's no more, Rory. That's it. You want a pin to play with? You want to play with the pin? Yeah. There you go. You want to write the notes, Rory? Zed's got Duskblade, so it's really dangerous. Like, if this, I guess you just, I didn't see where your sweep, I don't know if your sweep caught this or not, but like a Moo could come around here, or hit him. He's gonna turn it.
Red team double kill.
So you need to hit him with the green mark.
Red team double kill.
Let me see. So your green cord, do you have any? I can't tell how many. Okay, you don't have any power cords ready, so you need to have a power. If you're gonna try to gank, first of all, Sona's really not amazing with ganks a lot of times. Like you do have your ult, but you're just very squishy and vulnerable if you get counter ganked. Is that right, Rory? Yeah. You're very squishy and vulnerable if you get counter ganked. Also, you're only level 7, and like that Zed is level 10. So that's a pretty big deal. He has Duskblade, I just mentioned before, so he's going to do a ton of damage. So, you know, at a minimum, if you want to make this play, you need to walk up first, use your green power cord. It'll lower his damage by, I think it's 25%. It's either 20 or 25%. For the next 3 seconds. So you need to green power cord him, lower his damage, and then ult. I think that was a good ult. You want to wait until after he ults to ult. I think you did that, because you don't want him dodging your ult with his ult. Yeah, okay. That's good. Okay, the E. Nice, you got the shield on him. Auto, but I feel like there needs to be more autos, and you need to be spread out more. Like, there's no reason to be, you know, in melee combat. I know you're trying to extend and get that shield over to him, but you got to remember that a lot of his abilities, both his Q and his W, it's okay, you can have it, Rory, but you can't eat it. Just got my phone. Do a lot of AoE damage, so you need to be spread out. And this is where, what did you have in your inventory at the time? This is where I was talking about, like, you have to get a cloth armor. Yeah, so instead of crystalline bracer, I would have had some kind of cloth armor in here. You couldn't afford the full ninja tabby, but you just have to tab and see. Like, he already has Duskblade. He's got 3 kills, so if you're going to go up against this guy, like, you have to have some kind of armor. You know, you can see Fizz doesn't have armor either, so he's going to get evaporated. So yeah, you just got to pause for a little bit and just, like, evaluate the situation. Alright. So yeah, you need armor here, especially after that double kill. It's like code red, like, you have to have Ninja Tabby ASAP, and I would recommend getting a Zeke's at this point, because he's too fat. He's got 5 kills. Not sure if you needed to flash that. Maybe you were scared of like a Nivea Q coming back up. It's reasonable. You don't think you're going to be able to flash fast enough when she actually casts it. You can do that. Now, Caitlyn's rushing Infinity Edge because she didn't read patch notes. So you've got that going for you. Yeah, also, like, when you were top like that, was the tower... Let me see if the tower was down when you went top. A second ago. Yeah, okay, so the tower was already down. Okay. I was about to say, you wouldn't want to go top if the tower's down, but, speed this up again. Get back to where we were. Yeah, so she's pushed up really far. Amumu's bot side. Okay. Yeah, you have all those minions on. You gotta back up. That's pretty legit, though. Hopefully, I really hope Twitch is still an hourglass. Zed's really the only scary person on their team. What do you got there, Rory? Like, Amumu's kind of scary, but he's not building AP or anything. He's just gonna be tanky.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Is she typing stuff? Yeah. Redemption, redemption. I'm really late on this. Do you still have my phone?
Killing spree.
Alright, just bring it back whenever. Got the redemption. You go in Ardent Sensor, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Like, the thing is, you're gonna be really, really squishy, man. Really squishy. This guy has 2 full items, 6 kills. I really, really think you should get armor here. Use green power cord. More. Get armor. Malphite not have ult? No, there's... Yeah. It's like, what? Alright.
Shut down.
Yeah, you ulted up here. I think you were trying to grab the Zed or something. Like, you really need to save that ult for, like, a counter engage. Like, when they're grouped up. You know, like, you need to save that ult for when Malphite goes in or when Amumu goes in. To counteract their engage. Rather than to try to assassinate somebody. I mean, if you had a clean shot, I didn't see exactly where it was. If you had a clean shot, you know, you could maybe take it, but if your ult's on cooldown, that's a pretty big tool. Your team just doesn't have any CC, really, so if you don't have your ult, then, you know, the rest of your team's just gonna get annihilated, probably. I wouldn't run up like that. Yeah, Amumu's right there. Like, an idiot could just turn around and pop you. But not Amumu, an idiot could just pop you with a Q. Alright, well, that worked out. Zed's gonna be coming over here soon. Oh, Zed died. Who? Did Garen kill him top? Okay. Must have missed that. Yeah, he died right there. Okay, Kai'Sa's actually stronger right now. Because Caitlyn's build is god-awful. She did get a Zeal, though, so she does at least get some benefit out of Infinity Edge. Pushing up. I mean, obviously you want to hit the ult. What to say about that? Okay, yeah, you'll just collapse and kill them. They don't have the kind of team that can go do Baron, so that's okay overloading bot if you're killing 2 people. Because the rest of them can't do Baron. If they had something like a Master Yi, you know, Cassiopeia or something up top, you'd have to be very careful sending that many people bottom. The Baron's up without any vision on it, but, you know, if it's just like a Mumu and Zed, they're not going to do it that quickly. Malphite. Just be aware that, like, that could be dangerous. Against a different type of team comp. Someone's... she's probably vaporized. Okay. Yeah, y'all don't have Kai'Sa. Malphite doesn't have ult, but... I maybe think falling back and peeling the Kai'Sa would have been a better use than chasing forward like that. Kai'Sa's your highest sustained damage dealer right now. And you would have killed the, if she had just your heals and like your green power forward on the Malphite, you guys could have killed him. She almost killed him by herself. So he's got a lot of armor, but she does mostly magic damage, so... Okay. Getting so clowny. No, just leave it. They're gonna get that. No, you don't, like, that's, you have to work on using these ults just, like, on single tanks. It's like, yeah, I mean, y'all are gonna turn this around, but, I think they punished you a few times for not having your ult up. I think that's really dangerous. What's going on? Are you being mean in there? Oh my gosh. Well, that's what happens, Rory, when you eat the phone. That gets her more mad than anything in the world if you take her phone. She's already 16. She's not even 16 months yet. She might. Don't be ableist, dear. She just might eat that phone when she's 16, bless her heart. You love like you got to work on this, man. You love like single ulting the Amumu. I realize like he's the person that's like dive in the back line, but you at least got to hit like 2 people. You got to get the Amumu and the Malphite, or like wait on the Zed to ult somebody squishy and then hit him after the ult. You're probably not going to get to Cake, realistically, but I think that if you're just a little more patient, you can get the Zed, or you can at least get a Amumu and Malphite. Or maybe a Nivea. I mean, this Nivea's out of position a lot, too. But, like, just single ult on Amumu is just not happening. Like, this dude is so tanky. That's exactly what they want you to do. Like, if you're drawing it up on their side, other than miss. Like, if you miss, that's the best case scenario for them. But if you're their team, and you're drawing it up, and you're saying, okay, who's going to soak this Sona ult? Who do we want Sona to ult? Amumu's probably the #1 priority that they want you to do. Like, that's the best case scenario for them, is you ult and it only hits Amumu. So don't play into their game. Like, just be a little more patient with it, and just wait for a better opportunity. See, like, ideally you get multiple people. But if you're only going to get a single person, I think you'll have a chance to get Zed if you can wait. Or at least a Nivea. So we'll write that down here real quick. Same thing. I mean, he is isolated and alone here. But now, like, I know it feels like, okay, no harm, no foul, nobody died, but you're not going to have your ult for another minute or 2. And they're, like, pushing into your base here. So you might have to team fight in your base, and you're not going to have your ult if they group up on you. Kaisa took her like 3 seconds to realize that she wasn't in the base anymore. I mean, if a Amumu ran up on you, like, I mean, that's not your fault. Like, it's obviously warded, I think. Because if a Amumu just runs over to stop you from backing right there, he's not clairvoyant. I mean, he might just be lucky, but, like, super high probability that that's warded. But yeah, you got out of there, so not a lot you can do about it. Okay, yeah, you are getting the Zeeks. I like that. I would have just gotten it one item faster. I do think that getting some version of tier 2 boots is really important. This is so clowny, like everybody's just running around like random places. I really feel like you need tier 2 boots. Like, yeah, you know, Sona's E does allow her to run around the map a bit faster. But, it's just not enough. Like, you need your tier 2 boots to go along with that. I would definitely be leveling up your Q before your E as your secondary. Like, I know the speed seems nice, but it's really not that much of an upgrade. Versus, like, this Q benefits your entire team. Every time you cast it, everybody gets the extra on-hit damage, whatever it is, 50 on-hit damage. That is much, much more valuable. And I'm pretty sure it lowers the cooldown on it, and it gives you more damage. So, like, your Q is absolutely has to be one of the first 2 skills. I mean, some people will level up the Q all the way first. I like leveling W better, but it's way, way better than the E. You never want to level your E second. I mean, like, I don't remember the exact number, but like the movement speed that you're giving to your allies, it's like the base number is like 8% or something, maybe 6%, and you get like an extra like 2%. Or we could look after the game. But like per point, you're only getting like 2% extra movement speed. I don't even think it lowers the cooldown. The slow is always 40%. And back up, spam, just keep spamming W. You gotta green shot people in these fights. Like, that's the most important thing in team fights, is you have to make sure that... I know it can be hard to keep up with that. But, like, you gotta make sure you're getting those green power boards, especially on Zed. Like, reducing that damage by 20% is way more important than getting a little bit of extra, you know, power cord damage off your blue power cord. So, like I said, I know there's a lot going on there, and it's tough to always keep up with that, but you need to be thinking in your head, I gotta stop Zed, and you need to ignite somebody in that fight too, somewhere. I'm guilty of these things too, you know. Sometimes I don't use the summoner exactly when I should. Sometimes I don't. You know, when I'm playing Sona, I don't have the correct power cord. But you know, I'm teaching you perfection. So I make these mistakes too. I'm trying to teach you to be a better player, even better than I play some of the time. Here's the thing: like, even if you hit him with that, there's no way you're killing him. Right now, he's level 17. He's got life steal off the death stand. Like, there's no way you're killing him. So there's just no point in ulting there if you're not going to kill him. Good. Yeah, you survived that because it's easy. So. And you go in Tabby too. So. Now you're getting the right items. I would have probably would have gotten that before Ardent. Or if you want Ardent, like get Ardent first and get it before Redemption. I know those 2 items are really good, but like I said, when Zed was at like 5 kills, it's like code red with armor. Like, you have to get a lot of armor. Are you getting squirrely, Rory? Do you think people would consider that I go to bed at a reasonable hour? What do you think, dear? Do you think a lot of people would consider my bedtime a reasonable hour? I said no. What's your final item? Probably a beans, right?
Blue team.
Yeah, so these are the correct items that I would recommend. It's just the order would be a little different, but it's working out. All right, got your Baron. It's got to be a little careful of back doors, but I think yeah, if you just run at him and fight. There you go. Nice. That's that Ninja Tabi plus Zeke's. That's why you live through that. Zed's not looking at your items, he's just thinking it's squishy Sona. Less true than it was. Nice, good ult, or good ignite rather. Okay. I think y'all can get inhibitor. Okay. I'm skeptical. Yeah, I'm skeptical. I think y'all should probably run. I mean, maybe if they hard into you right here. Like, this Garen's going off. What was that, Sterix? God, that Sterix proc gave him, like, 1,000 shield or something.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just back up. Go ping Dragon. Like, y'all need to back and then go get this Dragon. You got full Athenes? Yeah, good. Now, don't be the first one in there. Like, you need to back up. That was a great redemption. Nice. Get him! Stand on top of him. Okay. Alright, good. Cool, that was a pretty close one. That was good. Alright. How much longer is this? 5 minutes, okay. That's my support tier list. It's uploading there. Okay, so the biggest thing is so you need to communicate ults more. You need to let them know, especially in the laning phase when you were trying to get some of those ults. They were pretty good moves, like that one time, if Kai'Sa followed up, you definitely would have gotten a kill there, but is she mad? That's mean. That's right. But yeah, so just communicate those ults more, you know, make sure that they're ready, like use your, you know, alt left click to put the crosshairs on the person you're targeting and then ping it a few times, ping your ult, just so they know what's going on. Just make sure that they, you know that you're going to ult them, because sometimes, you know, if you're just walking about and then just randomly ult, like it might be a good time to catch somebody, but they just won't be expecting that out of you. Especially, I'm not sure which elo this is played at, but even at like all elos, people just, they'll be zoned out to be listening to music, they might be talking to their brother or something in the other room. Like, you got to give them a heads up, you're going to do something. So most people aren't like 100% focused up on what's going on all the time. Okay, so make sure you ward like where you're going to get maximum fresh new vision. in like highly trafficked areas in the safest places that you can. So like that one ward that I showed in that bush, it really wasn't showing a lot other than just that alleyway, you know, that very narrow alleyway near the river. Like you want to be able to show that entire pathway that's behind that wall. So you want to try to ward over the wall to get that whole pathway, or at the very least a ward in the very corner of that bush so you can see up that aisle a little bit more. I have an entire video on warding if you want to check that out, my 5 tips for better macro. Not sure if you watched that or not, but I talk about a lot of different vision spots. Then I talk about some good spots in my vision domination video on the channel as well. So won't go into that too much here, but just work on the warding and just think where's like the maximum vision that I can get safely where they're highly likely to walk through. Okay. Let's see if we can... Now, League was at... Or, the wiki was acting a little squirrely earlier when I was doing my support tier list video, which is kind of annoying. Okay, it's working now, though. So the green power... it reduces by 25% and an additional 4% per 100 AP. So you probably had close to... You know, you had 100 AP pretty early after you got your Ardent Sensor. So, you know, it's going to be reducing by like 30% damage for 3 seconds. That's a really, really big deal on, now I'm pretty sure that stacks multiplicatively with armor, but still, like, it's a lot of damage reduction, right? So that would take out a lot of the bite out of Zed's all-in if you power chord him after he ults.
Jimmy Jams.
Good job, Rory.
Jimmy Jams.
So yeah, you want to keep your, I'm almost done with this coaching session. You want to keep your, keep that power chord ready, especially for the Zed. Even like stopping in a Moo ult, blocking a lot of that damage is helpful. Isn't that right, Rory? Is that helpful, Rory? Do you feel helpful? Yeah?
She feels grumpy.
Do you feel grumpy, Rory?
She feels grumpy.
Are you grumpy?
Are you waving?
Are you waving? Are you feeling friendly?
Okay.
You
Can you
clapping? Clap,
Can you
Rory?
clap? Yeah.
Good job.
Ooh, this means more.
Good job, Dedicated Duck 1. Good job.
Clap, yeah.
Good job, Rory.
Okay, baby. I'm done.
She's mine. So, you do get a little bit of...
It is Father's Day.
You do get a little bit of a
Okay,
cooldown
fun,
reduction
bye.
on the E. Do what?
Is that okay? Have fun, bye.
She says, what? You see, she's like, Mommy, what you doing? You trolling.
Is Mommy trolling?
Yeah.
Mommy trolling.
But yeah, like the extra movement speed that you get is like literally just 1% more. You know, so yeah, you do get some cooldown reduction on it, and that's nice. Like you can cast it some more. Like I get it, that's cool, but it's no like it doesn't give you any combat stats. Like it doesn't buff your team the same way that like the Q does, right? This gives a lot more magic damage. I mean, the difference here, because remember this hits twice, so it's a 1.0 AP ratio. And it's 80 damage and then 320 damage when it's maxed out. This also lowers the cooldown by a total of, you know, a lot, right? 3 seconds there, so it's not as much as this, but they both lower the cooldown. They both have a fixed, well, this cost actually does go up a little bit, but it's just way more damage. And, like, the bonus damage on your allies, this doesn't look like a lot, but, like, 30 damage among 5 different people, that's an extra, you know, 150 damage on top of that. So like if this is maxed out, this does 320 because it's going to hit 2 people in a fight with your power chord. If you touch all of your allies, it's an extra 150. So that's 470 damage. This hits twice. That's a 1.0. This can hit up to 5 different people. So that's a 1.5. So that's a 2.5 AP ratio that has a base damage of 470 when you max this out. On like a 5-second cooldown before CDR. Like, that's ridiculous. That ability is so strong. Like, you have to level this up. I mean, the only thing that's even, like, remotely close to this is, like, this, because of this shield, you know, being able to shield your allies for up to, you know, 625 base with a 210 heal that also has, like, a, you know, a 2.0 ratio on it. Like, obviously that's really strong too. Like, these two abilities are what make Sona. She's just like unstoppable in long team fights. So yeah, I would definitely max this second. Like, this is very, very important to get this up. Okay, so yeah, get that. Use green power cord more for the 25% reduction. Max Q second always. I should just say always, max Q second. Like, I understand the allure of being able to, like, rotate around the map faster, and there's definitely, you know, a lot to be said for that. But it's just, the raw numbers on the Q are just too strong to ignore. Like, you just have to go with that. So yeah, as soon as Zed gets to like 3 kills, you need to be thinking, okay, I've got to at least get a cloth armor, you know, like Ninja Tabby at a minimum. And then once he gets to like 5 or 6 kills, then you got to start thinking, okay, I got to start getting the Zeeks. He wasn't focusing you out a ton early on, but he could have a little bit more if he wanted to. So I think that's something important to adapt. You did get the right items that I would have gotten eventually. I just think that the order was maybe a little different. I know, like, you need more power. Like, Ardent Sensor is very good with Kaisa, and Redemption's so good in team fights. Like, I get it. Like, everything's really good. But I just feel like it was really dangerous not to at least get a cloth armor and probably just go ahead and convert that into Ninja Tabby at a minimum once Zed gets a few kills. And then, finally... So save that R for multiple hits or high priority targets. So it needs to hit like 2 people, like a Mumu and Malphite, or you need to save it for Zed or Anivia, or Caitlyn if you can get to her, but you're probably not going to get to her. So I think there were probably like over half of the ults that I saw were just like singleton ults hitting a Mumu to the face, and it didn't really matter. And then you needed the ult for the rest of the fight, or like shortly thereafter, within the next minute, your team got into a fight where the ult would have been handy. So you did have a couple of clutch ults where you hit multiple people, you got the squishies and things like that, but I feel like there were just too many of them were directed at single, like, Amumu, and a lot of them were not converted to kills. There were some where you were able to run him down and kill him, you know, afterwards, but I think a lot of the times he was able to soak that ult and either get away, or the team fight kept going, and it didn't really have much of an impact on the fight. So overall, solid game. You know, I thought you had some good moments, pretty good positioning for the most part. You're getting a lot of those heals off, getting a lot of Qs off. You know, you had some pretty good aggression in the lane. You know, you had a couple of chances if the Kaisa would have followed up with that ult in lane. You know, you definitely could have gotten some kills. And I think the itemization, you know, it was good items, right? Like Redemption, Ardent Sensor, that's textbook, you know, really good Sona items. Just that small adaptation, I think, would have helped against Zed. Just getting those Tabby earlier, at least, would have probably been good. But overall, solid game. I think that's great. So thank you very much for the generous donation. I really appreciate it. Once again, anyone else out there watching that's interested in coaching, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. If you like this content, be sure to check out the rest of the channel, The Strategy Professor on YouTube. We have lots more coaching, tier list, champion guides, topical videos, such as like best one tricks, how to improve your laning, how to improve your macro, like in-depth analysis of different items, like what are the priority items on different champions, just all kinds of content on the channel. So be sure to come by and check it out, and check out the live stream too. It's usually around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time most days. Obviously, I'm running a little bit late today. I really wanted to finish this coaching session in the tier list. But pretty much every day I'm on sometime between 9:30 and 10. So come by, check us out. And we usually stay on until around, usually about 2:30, maybe 3, sometimes a little later depending on what's going on. But that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.